Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and today we've got some news that is going to definitely affect whether or not you do the Thor fusion, in my opinion anyway. Let's jump to the juicy stuff straight away. This Friday, the 6th of September, two events launching simultaneously, Upside Down Smile. A 2x event to summon legendary champs from Sacred Shards, and a 10x event for FREYJA from Sacred Shards. Now, the FREYJA 10x will only be on for Friday, Saturday. The 2x for Sacreds will be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you don't want FREYJA for some reason, you could summon on Sunday or like Monday morning before it goes away, I guess. But yeah, this is spicy because one of the big questions people have been asking me, I guess Thor is not actually in game for me to show, but nubkeks, should I go for Thor or should I go for FREYJA? Because we've been told there's going to be a deck of fate for FREYJA. Or, well, actually, technically, we were not told there'd be a deck of fate for FREYJA. There was like a press release to, I think, just the broad other content creators or something that said that there would be a deck of fate for FREYJA. There's also obviously this Prism thing. I think this is a skip for sure. This one is pretty rough. Not only was this super expensive, but there seems to be like multiple events for FREYJA. In my opinion, if you had to choose between Thor and FREYJA, I would 100% choose Thor. Someone asked me in my Discord, I was able to reply immediately and say, go for Thor. I think FREYJA is good. I think she's, decent, legendary, but I think Thor is going to be much more useful to people. Thor is just a monster of a damage dealer. So I think for, all your regular farming, campaign, Minotaur, weaker dungeons, Doom Tower, First City, any of that stuff, Thor is going to rip it apart. And then he's really strong for Hydra as well. So I am very impressed with Thor. He's not terrible in Arena either. He's not the best, but he hits hard. He's sort of like a Trunda in Arena, except he doesn't have her weakness to Ultimate Death Knight with her A2. But he's quite like Trunda in Arena, but he self-buffs. He is a squishy damage dealer. So he's good. He's probably better than most nukers in Arena, but, he's definitely not top tier in Arena. So I think Thor is really good. FREYJA is definitely a bigger question mark for me. So she can obviously put out a really nice shield. She's got a cleanse. She's basically a Latreon Blade Master, but without the protected stuff, which is what makes him good. So she's basically got the same sort of kit as a Latreon Blade Master, who for me has been sat in the vault until the Thor dungeon where his protected buffs were useful. What makes her different is the active effect on her passive, which is where she'll prevent the death of the ally at the highest crit damage. Now that, excuse me, would certainly be very useful in some niche arena team comps, where if your damage dealer gets a turn, they can wipe out the enemy team. So that's potentially very powerful. And you could potentially build teams intentionally around this. Difficult maybe in live arena, where someone could be banned that could break that team. But definitely for Classic, not so important. But for Tag Arena, this could be really good. Like, this could give you a way to build like a cheese team to counter stuff and destroy. So I think there's a lot of potential there. For future dungeons and like speed farming dungeons as well, this has huge potential too. Where, okay, your ally at the highest crit damage gonna die, you just pick him back up and go. So this is pretty cool, right? That instant turn is pretty cool. But I'm also not 100% convinced that you're going to be definitely using FREYJA all the time. Like, for me on my account, it's a bit awkward. Actually, funny enough, I think she combos very well with Thor. You can use her to protect Thor, and Thor's turns are so strong. It's actually quite a strong combo, that. So FREYJA plus Thor, very good. But for me personally, like, I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, okay, you know what? She'd actually be quite good with Lazarius, because he is quite squishy when he goes into form too. But like a lot of my other nukers for Arena that I use are quite tanky. Like Wukong, you don't really care about keeping alive. Narcisse is super tanky. Rotus is quite tanky as well. Like, it's certainly not useless to protect them, but I don't know. Nukers that protect themselves tend to have the highest value often, or do something really special. But I do think she'll come out very well with Thor. So yeah, FREYJA is definitely she's more of a question for me as to how much you will actually use her. But she is a very good just general protector, like a Latreon Blade Master. But for end game, how much does an end game player actually use her? I think she'll be niche uses. I think Thor will have much more general impact on most players' accounts. So I will be going for Thor, but now you don't have to decide. You can go for both, at least somewhat. So, yeah, my thought on this, bearing in mind, if you really want Freya, and bearing in mind that she does combo very, very well with Thor, I would just do the minimum to get the Thor fusion done with this. And this is awkward because we've got 2x, a champion chase at the start of the Thor fusion, which means you won't have the fragments for the epics to summon to make it easier. And we're going to have probably summon rush then next week in the fusion. The second week of the fusion will probably be a summon rush event. So you need to save some sacreds and voids and stuff like that for summon rush. You're going to need to do that as well, almost definitely. So I would do sort of the minimum here to get the stuff. Now, we might be able to pull extra to get like an extra copy of the epic, and that might be worth doing for some people because he's quite a decent epic champion. So I will consider that as well. We'll break it down tomorrow when that goes live. But look, you might get Freya. You might get lucky. You might get Freya. I wouldn't pull all your shards because, you know, there might be a deck of fate. We don't know what that deck of fate will involve. It could be champion training and souls. It could be dungeon divers, artifact enhancement. It could be shards. If it's shards, probably want to save your shards for that to get a more guaranteed source for it. Yeah, that's sort of what I would be bearing in mind. I would personally not be doing this prism thingy here unless you really need the epics for Mikage or you really want some of these. But I wouldn't really be too worried about this one at all because there's going to be probably a deck of fate for Freya. And if you're going to whale out, you're probably better off waiting for the Odin prism thing, which they've said is coming as well. So yeah, that's sort of my vibe on that. Let me know what you think about it. What do you think about Freya? I am a bit on the fence about her. I will get her in the deck of fate, but I'm not going to chase her like crazy otherwise. But, you know, guaranteed champions is very good value. So, yeah, might pick her up, but we'll see. Now, the other thing here, this is giving you a little bit of a preview of the fusion as well. 2x Barbarian Accessories and Spider. So we're going to be starting with Spider's Lair, then Dragon, then Fire Knight, then Ice Golem. These are okay. So 2x Barbarian Accessories, kind of whatever. But, I mean, look, you're getting Thor. You might get some stuff for Thor. It's not too bad. 2x Speed is okay. You know, they do 3x Speed, which is a good chunk better. But 2x Speed is nice. 2x Regen is again, good for progression. 2x Reflex is actually really good for Ice Golem. Yeah, I feel like these are pretty good progression stuff. Like, I think for a lot of us endgame players now, and a big chunk of my viewers are endgame players, you're probably finding like nearly all of these sets are quite useless. I still do use Reflex, actually. Speed is niche, and Regen is kind of niche, you know? Like, a lot of these regular dungeon sets are just really falling off compared to the crazy powerful new sets that we're getting. But yeah, look, that's what's happening with the fusion schedule. I think the summoning event is the tricky part. We're starting with Champion Chase, and it's Sacreds. That's rough. And then Summon Rush after. Means if you, look, you just be careful not to waste shards chasing after 2x, 10x Freya. Like, you know, you only have something like a 15% chance to get Freya. Probably less, actually. Actually, probably less. Gosh, it might only be like... Hang on. I have that info. Okay, no, I did not actually work out the 10x. I mean, let's do it here. In like a 10x from Sacreds. Well, this was for epics. Ooh, I didn't work out... Oh, I didn't work out the legendaries. I think it's probably something similar. I think there's probably a similar number of legendaries to epics. I'm guessing it's probably only like about a 5% chance for Freya. Maybe like 6 or 7. Like, it's not massive by any means. You know, it's not that good. So just be careful of that. Like this 10x, 2x. Yeah, like just off the top of my head, I feel like there's really as many legendaries in most factions as there are epics. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it being any higher than a 10% chance off the top of my head to get the Freya. I don't. So don't go crazy chasing it. Just some of you will get lucky and will get Freya. And if you do, great. That's basically my take on it. So yeah. I don't know if anyone has the actual numbers of regular legendaries you can pull from Sacreds. If anyone has that number and has the maths, I guess let us know down below. I'd be curious. But my expectation is it's not actually as good as it sounds. So just be wary. But hey, look, you get Freya. Good luck. That's it. That's my thoughts. Thanks for watching. I will come back tomorrow and we'll check out what the actual thing looks like for Summon Rush. I will be pulling my shards for it. but we'll see like what are the good cutoff points to aim for and whatnot. So I'll see you guys for some shard pulls tomorrow. I'll probably see you later today for some siege video fun. I'll do those battles maybe a little bit later. Just gonna go get some stuff for lunch. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.